Hello, travelers. I know that we are getting down to the wire for those looking to plan spring break trips. And there have been a lot of travel updates and new rules and requirements since the beginning of the year. So I wanted to just give you a little lowdown on what you might still be able to do for spring break and some of the requirements for the different destinations for spring break travel. So, the newest news is that on international travel, if you leave the United States, you have to have a negative COVID test before you come back to the United States. That has to be within 72 hours of your flight back to the US. It's the airlines that are monitoring those. So, you have to turn in that test to the airline to be able to get onto the plane to come back. We know that a lot of the all inclusive resorts down in Mexico and the Caribbean are providing on site COVID testing for the guests staying there that meets the requirements that the US has in order to get back into the States. So they're providing that. Many of them are doing it at no charge. Some of them do have an additional charge, but they'll do it right at the resort with medical staff that they're bringing in. And then they're also most of the all-inclusive resorts and those that I'm suggesting are offering complimentary quarantine stays. So if you do test positive once you're there, you'll be able to stay quarantined in a room there at the resort and still have food and beverages, non-alcoholic, um, available to you in your room. So that is something to keep in mind if you have a positive COVID test. We want to make sure that you're staying at a place that will allow you to stay there. And many of those, again, are doing that with no additional fee. Mexico and Costa Rica are still allowing US citizens in without a COVID test. So you can go down and not have to get tested before you go. And I will say that Costa Rica and there are a couple other places in the Caribbean are requiring specific insurance that has a higher medical coverage. So if something happens while you're in destination, if you do test positive for COVID and need treatment, that you have an insurance plan that will cover those medical costs. I have a couple of different partners that I work with that, we can make sure that we're getting you the proper insurance that you need if you do still want to travel internationally for spring break. If you don't feel like traveling internationally right now, I totally understand. It's not for everyone right now. So, what I would suggest is maybe we look at some beach destinations along the Atlantic coast and the Gulf Coast. So, a lot of places in Florida, in the Florida Keys, in the southern Georgia area, somewhere to still get you a beach stay that is within the United States. So, there's lots of hotels and resorts that are available that we can look at for you and your family, see which one is going to fit you best to still get that warm beach weather destination spring break getaway. Another thing to keep in mind for spring break is Hawaii. Hawaii does have a test required to go to the islands, and it's a very specific test. They're only taking some from certain laboratories and they have to be done certain ways. But if you have your test done within 72 hours of your flight and it's negative, you can go to the Hawaiian Islands. You do not need to retest to come back home. So there are a lot of great places in Hawaii to stay with families. There's so much to do in Hawaii. Much of it is outside. They have so many outside dining options for you if you're comfortable dining outside. There's also quite a few options that I'd recommend for condo stays where you do have food and you're able to prepare food in your accommodation in your condo. And they're not traditional condos where it's just a whole block of condos and nothing else going on. They have amazing pools, sometimes lazy rivers and hot tubs. So there's still a lot for you to do and be involved in at the resort, but you have those accommodations in your villa, in your condo to do, your own cooking and to do laundry. So Hawaii is still a great viable option for spring break travel. And then having just come back from Disney and Universal, I can tell you that they, are options we can look at for spring break travel as well. Now could be the perfect time for you and your family to go. I'd love to chat with you more to see if now's the right time for you and your family, because if you're going to Disney and it's your one and done, only time you're going trip, now's not the right time. But if maybe you've gone before or you know you're going to go again, now could be a great time to go, to take advantage of some of those reduced capacities, to take advantage of the fact that there aren't nighttime activities. So you don't feel pressured to stay into the park until 9 and 10 p.m. and then be right up early again at 7 a.m. It might be the right fit for you. And then Universal is a great option for spring break as well. Many of the hotels have awesome pools, so you can, do days at the park, days at the pool. There's a secret tip that I have as far as, beating a lot of the lines at Universal. So you can get through, you know, the two parks that they have, the two theme parks that they have in 2 days, maybe 3 days. The Volcano Bay, their water park, is going to be opening at the end of February. So it's going to be open for those March and April trips. And it is a water park unlike any other water park that there is. Lots of fun to be had, lots of space to spread out, and just a great, great time to get out of the cold weather and get into some sun, get into some pools, and get outside. Because I know a lot of us up here in the north, we've been stuck inside because it's been so cold, it's been so snowy. Um, if spring break is something you're still looking into, now is the time to be planning. We don't have a lot of time left due to the reduced capacities at some of the hotels and such. Things are filling up. So if you've been on the fence about spring break, give me a call, set up an appointment with me so we can chat to see if now's the right time for you and your family to travel. And again, I do understand now's not the time for everyone, but there are people out there who still feel comfortable traveling. Maybe you've already been vaccinated, maybe you've already had COVID, maybe you're taking precautions where you feel safe to travel. Now's the time to be planning those trips for March and April so we can get you a fantastic spring break getaway. As always, let me know what questions you have for me about travel. I'm here for you. I'm always available to talk. So let me know how I can help you plan your next spring break or your next summer or winter trip, and I will be waiting. I can't wait to hear all of your wonderful questions and give you some answers and help you feel safe about traveling again. Have a fantastic day. Bye bye.